So you're holding one of the Promise to Live pocket hugs and the coins. And this was actually inspired because somebody gave me one to check on me. And I started carrying it in my pocket. And then my friend's son took his life and she asked me to speak at the funeral and I gave her mine. And it says on the back, when times are tough and you don't know what to do, here's a hug from me to you. Call or text 988 if you're struggling, the National Crisis Line.
Hi, I'm Ruth Barclay, and this is the Taste Your Magic YouTube channel show. We do a lot on this show and in our business, but today what we're doing is readings, and readings can consist of oracle readings, which is anything about you, anything going on in your life, your gifts. Some people even ask about their animal spirit guides. And we also do animal communication, and we talk to a lot of loved ones who have passed on this show. And I'm really excited that Brandy Vega has joined us because she's got a lot of natural gifts that she just lives in all the time. So thanks for coming, Brandy.
I'm excited to be here. This is a first for me.
It's good. You want to share just a little bit of what you do?
Yeah, so just a little background on me. Right now, I'm the founder of Promise to Live, which is suicide prevention and mental health. But it's been an interesting road to get here. You know, I served in the military. I joined the Army, graduated early, worked at the War College, reported for Fox News at 20.
Wow.
Worked in TV news for many years. I own my own video production and media company. Trained in firearms, trained in self-defense. Done a lot of really cool things. But then about, 7 years ago, the first time I almost lost my daughter to suicide. And because of shame and stigma, buried it. And then 2 years later, she did the same thing. And that's when I made God a promise if he saved her, I'd do the work. Whew. And he told me, he said, I'll give you a second chance. There won't be a third. What will you do? And I was like, if you save her, I'll do anything. And he said, anything? I said, anything. Within an hour, she woke up, was fully functional. And I've spent the last 5 years of my life working on that promise I made to him, trying to help everyone else live and really trying to do my new life's mission. It shifted everything. It's changed everything. And so I'm kind of excited to dive into that a little bit.
I believe the first time that we met was in Utah. And then the second time we got together was in California.
Yes.
And through some other people, both incredible groups. But in Utah, what I remember is, you're doing your busy run around. Everybody does that. But yours was like super busy. And I can't remember if you showed up late or something happened. But if I might get the story wrong, actually, I probably will. But what I remember of the story is you were like, you came onto a wreck or something like that. And somehow you passed people and saved someone, or someone passed on and you contacted the loved ones. It was like so much had just happened that was just placed in your lap right before this event. And do you remember that?
When you're saying that, I'm thinking, which one was it?
Which one?
That's been my life. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if I sit there and I talk about it, we're old enough to remember after school specials.
Yes.
I used to say my life is an after school special. There's so many different things that have happened, but it's always been one of those things. When I was 15, I came upon a really horrific accident. I saw a ball cap in the road. We're teenagers. Let's hit it with the car. And then I saw the light over in the bushes, and we found somebody who had crashed on a motorcycle. And I stayed with him when he passed.
Wow.
And I remember it was before cell phones and things. I was standing on the side of the road trying to flag people down to help, and everybody just drove past me. And I made a promise at that moment, Ruth, that I would never pass anyone up. If anybody was ever in need, I would stop. And that's just what I do. So no matter who it is, where it is, if it's inconvenient or not, I just stop, because I would want somebody to do that for me or my mom or my kid.
Yeah.
And so, I don't remember which time, because I've done it so many times. And I volunteered at the hospital for 7 years. I did spiritual care, and I did Nobody Dies Alone. And I've sat with a ton of patients. And, I just have a lot of experiences in my life that shifted me and shaped me to who I am today.
Yeah, it stood out to me because I think that's how we ended up merging together there at the end, is because I brought up, or someone introduced me and shared with you what I do, and talking, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to tell you a story. What just happened?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, wow. Yep. And so something that kind of keeps wanting to come up while we're sharing this is you do actually have a gift of, it's like it's a unique word to put it, but like a lot of people would say transition as well, a lot of things. But a word for you that wants to come up is you are the ability to give a choice in that very delicate moment. Because some people, the best choice is not to stay. And some people, the very best choice is to live and stay.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an access point that you can enter in because you have like an empathy of non-judgment. And it's like you have a control over it as well, but still that empathy of care and love. And so the divine and the love and the spirits that want to come in are there to be able to get the work done, communicate, make a choice. And somewhere you're holding this space for all these delicate beings to keep it clean, to keep it pure. And it's like you don't have to do all of the work in it. You just have to make sure that space stays there until the choice is made. What do you feel with that as you're hearing that?
I think it's interesting because I actually just did a podcast with Curtis Morley with Counterfeit Emotions, and it kind of blew up online. I think we have 75,000 views, in a few days. And I was reading through some of the comments, which you probably shouldn't do. And, some of them were good, but a lot of them were bad.
Really?
Yeah, toward me, and saying things like, because I said, take suicide off as an option. Don't make it a choice. And when you say that, that's what pops into my mind, because some people are like, I think it's selfish of you to tell me to stay. And I think one of the things I do have is I have really good judgment.
Yeah.
And I'm not judgmental.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, I always say not everybody likes chocolate. You can be a bright ray of sunshine, but they prefer the storms. No matter what you do, people are going to love you or hate you. And hopefully my goal is when people meet me and are around me, they can feel love.
Yes.
They can feel whatever higher power, God, love, because they met me. And whatever that feels like to them, whether they choose to stay or go, I just want them to know that they're loved.
It's a pure feeling that they can receive, or maybe they haven't had that, or maybe they forgot it, or maybe they think it's not there anymore for them. And that does give a pure space of choice. And
Which is hard. You don't want to give a choice sometimes. Like I didn't want my daughter to have a choice.
Oh, no. I wanted her totally to understand that. And that's a good thing, is because you are going into it in a space of, I would love you to stay here. You're very welcome to stay here. And there's even support systems. You're not just that one moment of choice. People that can help them after that. Is so interesting because we keep getting that static. And so somebody's definitely trying to come through.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if I should interrupt you or if some good downloads coming. I'm like,
say it. Say what you're going to say.
Well, now I'm forgetting what I was going to say, but
that was powerful, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was just interesting kind of thinking about that. So from my early years, everybody's called me the magnet.
Oh, nice.
And I just wonder what you think of that.
Yeah. You are very much a magnet. I mean, the second that I said, who should I ask? That it was like, obviously magnetized to you. I think something you've had to deal with that is you get magnets of all sorts. And that's been challenging to your strengths and your purity. And probably, like, I see sadness a lot in some of them where you've had to stand your ground, and you've had to defend, or you've had to protect, or you've had to make a better choice. And that takes an authority of a level that a lot of people can't hold. And so that shows me that, yeah, you are a magnet, but you clean yourself up. Does that make sense? And so I feel like if I was to bring something to you and I kept it in integrity and I kept it in authenticity, and as much as I knew about it and as much as I wanted out of it, you could create a magnet for me.
Okay.
In that.
Yeah. So what gift, or how should I use the gifts that I have to have the biggest impact?
Yeah, you are doing a great job. You've done a great job your whole life. The biggest impact. So what I keep seeing with you is that it's like you're just opening doors. You just keep opening doors for people. Like you're the one that can see the door and you're the one courageous enough to go open it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be for you. It can be for someone else, or you can even help someone through that door. But sometimes people are like, don't open that door. Don't open that door. Don't open that door, you know?
Yeah.
And if you see this is what needs to be opened up, this you, and with all of your support physically, in the energetic realms, spiritually, everything just supporting you in that grab. And you don't always have to understand it all, because I bet some of it you don't understand. You're like, why? With some of the doors you've opened. My question for you, which just kind of came up, and maybe it's because I'm just curious, but what's the most radical door you've opened?
Well, several years ago, I went through a really traumatic divorce, right? And had a breakdown and learned to submit.
Okay.
I realized I never submitted in my entire life. And I didn't even know what that meant. It seemed like a bad word. But I learned to submit, and I turned it over, and I trusted. And I trusted, and I put it all in God's hands, right?
Yeah.
And so at that point, I stopped thinking about what I thought was best for me, because that wasn't true. And I started moving forward in faith. And that's when I got my foster care license. That's when I adopted my son. That's when I was a surrogate at 40 years old for another family. It's when I built my business. It's when I started my nonprofit. It's when, like, that for me, those were scary doors that I would have never opened in my closed mind.
Yeah.
But when I opened the door to God, again, higher power, whatever people believe, for me, it's God.
Yeah.
But when I opened the door and said, okay, I submit my will to you, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And people thought I was nuts. Single mom. And here I am starting a company. I'm adopting a baby through foster care who's born addicted as a single mom with a 10 and a 15-year-old, you know, and then I'm a surrogate and I'm single and dating. Like, everybody thought I was insane. But those things were radical doors that I opened.
Yeah.
Because I learned to submit, and it changed my life in ways that I could have never experienced any other way. And then by opening that door with my son, you know, he found my husband 6 years ago. He picked him out.
Wow.
And I trusted that. And so it's just kind of been this wild ride of, I think we're vessels here enjoying the journey. Mm-hmm. And when we say, okay, guide my footsteps, you know, you got to be willing to move your feet, and you got to be willing to listen. And now I choose to listen, and I literally will hear things.
Definitely. I think a big thing that you're sharing is the witness of faith and the testimony of that faith. Because for me, I've learned, and my little phrase is surrender into abundance.
Yeah.
Surrendering and trusting that is of abundance. Whatever it's going to be abundance. And my passion, my desire, and my fruits that will be able to be given to other people is the abundance. And I can't know it all. Thank goodness. That would be
overwhelming.
Yeah. It goes along with the magnet thing and the faith thing and the opening the doors and being that space between. When you can hold that faith of knowing that the choice will be made correctly, as long as there's that pure, as you're saying, surrender or submit. And I would say surrender.
Which is a perfect word as well.
Into God, into the higher space that knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. That allows the pure alignment to then happen.
Yeah.
That takes courage. That takes bravery. That takes, I think faith is sometimes like the hardest part, especially when you're used to being in control.
Yeah.
Or battling dangers where you got to know what's going on, at least some of it.
Yeah.
And then letting all of that go.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a question that keeps coming up?
Our big question this year is my question. The question that we're focused on is, how do we build this mission? How's our sustainability? Whether, sustainability, we're looking for obviously financial, but also I think emotional and physical and team and all the things. That's like my big question right now in my heart is, how do we get it to that next level?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? What do we need to do?
Well, I'm being shown the challenge first. And the challenge is there is a wave of suicides you're not going to be able to help.
Right.
And whatever plays into it, it can play into a magnitude of ways. But there's a massive splitting that's happening. And there's a massive choice of if you live, there is a higher state you've got to live. And sometimes that's really painful and really hard to see how to live in that higher state, how to live, even just learning peace. Sometimes peace can be so uncomfortable that you fight it. And so acknowledging in their spaces that they're going into that they might be experiencing a higher state, but like you said, the storm is what they want. And it's not going to work in this split that's coming into the next phase. And so for us, we see the death of them. For them, in my thoughts or what I have experienced, they can still actually be living just in a different space.
Right. So is there something that I should be doing differently in what we're doing that you're seeing, like a level of words or compassion or even terms?
When I was working, there's a story that's coming up, so we'll see where this lands with it.
Okay.
There's a woman I was working with, and I worked with her for probably about a year. And for me to work with someone, it doesn't take very long for them to just flip an Excel and start really jumping. But she kept wanting to stay in the story, and it sucked her back down, And I finally had to come to a point where I told her, asked her straight up, do you want to live or do you want to go? Do you want to die? And it was just like baffling because of course I want to live. And I said, well, here are the terms. If you want to live, then you've got to, and I laid out some terms.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I can't help you. I can help you here, and these are the terms, and this is kind of the life that you're going to have to start taking footsteps for. Mm-hmm. And so I told her I can't work with you anymore unless you make this choice. And so I let her go make a choice, and it was like a good week or two that she was just trying to figure out what is going on. Do I really want to do this? And it was like pretty offensive to her.
Yeah.
Like,
how dare you?
It was hard for me because I don't want her to, I want to keep her and I see the site. So what does that kind of bring up for you? But she ultimately came back. But when she came back, she was ready. And it was like, okay, I can hear you now. Okay, I can feel what you're saying. Okay, I can let my pain be loved or seen, or the vulnerability with the real protection that there is there, instead of throwing it on, people that aren't going to hold it safe. They're just going to validate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think people want the agency. They want to be able to choose. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the great gifts we have as humans, is we do get to choose.
Yeah.
But I think that's a little bit hard, and this is maybe what I'm up against right now, is people saying, you're telling me I don't have a choice. You're telling me I have to live and I don't want to live. And I'm like, okay, you get to choose. But there's some who are just reactionary.
Yes.
And it's, just a quick instinct that pops up that goes away. Like for me, I tried to kill myself at 12. Whew. And again, I was almost there. And I heard a voice just say, your mom can't handle this. That was enough for me. And I had dealt with that for a year. I went through my situation, and then I kind of got over it. And I look at my life and how beautiful it is and all the amazing things that I've been able to do that I would not have been able to do.
Yeah.
If I had died. And so, and my daughter too, she didn't die. And she told me, a year ago, she's building professional mascots. She's doing the Dallas Clippers. She did the Kansas City Chiefs. She's doing she does all this. She's 19. She owns her own company and she builds pro mascots for teams. I'm so proud of her. But she told me she graduated a year early on the honor roll. We had a hard conversation. She said, Mom, she stared at me and I thought she was thinking I was ridiculous or, whatever teenagers think. And she goes, I can't wait to get old like you. I started crying because I know I'm old and I'm getting some grays and I'm almost 50. But it was the first time in 5 years, Ruth, she said she wanted to live.
Wow.
And that she saw a future. And so, I guess my struggle is you're always trying to do good and you're trying to help. And it sometimes just feels like no good deed goes unpunished. Mm-hmm. And we often focus on the one troll instead of the 9 wonderful comments and good things. And so maybe just reading into some of that last night on all the comments and just feeling it, reading about the suicides. The weight is heavy.
Before we got started, opened about anything. And
Yeah.
one of the things you'd mentioned was the ones that have passed on, if they had anything they wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a lot of them in here that are with you on your side. And a big part of what they're saying is just keep being open to feeling them, keep being open to hearing them. And if you think you heard or you did, and that, like, I'm even seeing you hand off the hand to one of them so they can hold the living person's hand, and teaching them it's there, feel it, it's there,
Yeah.
feel it. Showing them, letting them come in more for you. So you're the access point, right? But there's other help that wants to help through it.
I've been asking for that. I have. I'm like, hey,
Help me out.
I can't do it all.
Yeah.
And I know there's lots of people. So it's like, can you help?
Yeah.
You know what you know. Can you help?
Yeah.
Sorry. My stepsister lost both of her sons to suicide. And I feel like, you know, I'm fighting for them, but I also feel like I need them to help. I need them to pick up the slack, you know, and so that's often what I pray for is that all the people who are on the other side join the effort.
And they're ready to, because they know what is going on. They know some of the tricks that are taking them was never supposed to be part of the plan.
What tricks are those?
Tricks. There are some tricks that get into their heads that make them think it's really their thoughts. There are tricks that get into their blood systems that make them think it's expanding, and it's not. It's trapping or giving access to. There are even tricks that it looks like they are alive when their body's almost dead and they think they're not. There's just a lot of different illusions that are happening. And if they can have clarity, so even something like if you hear about something coming or somebody getting ready to, or someone talking about it, or even you can get on things and share that there are a big one is the systems that are created physically and emotionally and mentally and even on the energetic side. There are systems where you really have to learn what are really your thoughts and how to acknowledge that. How to acknowledge this is my thought and how to stop it if it's not. Those are really, really, really hard ones because they feel really, really real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would ask you how can they do that? Because I just before I came in, I was talking to my husband and a friend, and we were talking about this. And, you know, I have a friend who woke up in the middle of the night with a voice telling him, go kill yourself. Go get the gun out of the safe, walk down the hall, and was literally guiding him. And he got to the room and he passed his roommate's room, and he said that's when he kind of like, and he stopped his roommate and said, I need help. And I have another lady who's on my team, and she lost her husband to suicide 5 years ago. And she tells me all the time, she hears the voice whisper in her ear and telling her, you should just kill yourself. You'd be better off, you know? And she's like, I know it's a bad voice. I know it's negative. So one, what do we do about that? And how do you know what's good and what's not?
Yeah. There's a magnitude of it, of how to do that. Have you ever seen Inception?
Mm-hmm.
When they're moving through the dream states?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a certain tool that he knew was whether it was his dream or somebody else's dream.
Okay.
I've used that a lot in my life. Mine is if I go to switch on a light, it switches on for me. If it doesn't switch on, that means I'm somewhere between. Something's happening that's not right. Something is off. So that's one that comes up is find a way that you know it's your reality. Find a way that, because a lot of people can't even feel themselves anymore. So if you can get them to learn what do I feel like in this moment? And start to learn body parts that are missing. When you touch yourself, sometimes I have to go through my system. And like right here, I can't really feel my arm right there. So at some point, I'd need to kind of bring back that part of me. If they're not really feeling themselves, that's not their full reality. Something else is with it. If it feels like nummy almost, wobbly nummy, a lot of times that's something else. And it's interesting, I'm giving you some really unique ones, but there's a lot of other ways to understand what your reality is. But a big part is watching when your train of thought wanders. That's so normal right now. Wandering, scrolling, anything. The second it starts wandering, if you can acknowledge your wandering, stop it for just a second and ask, is this what I want to know? Is this what I want to know? And sometimes it is. And sometimes we just need a blah take over for a minute.
Right.
But you will usually get like, no, I don't really care about that. Or no, I don't really want to feel that way. Or is this really true? Questions to ask your reality, because you're dealing with some pretty tricky areas.
Well, what about the voice? So if somebody hears that, what should they do or say? Should they tell it to leave? Should they?
Yes. Whether you know it's yours or not, or you recognize it or not, or you feel scared or safe or excited, whatever the feelings are, first challenge it. Why would I want to do that? Who is this? I know you're there, even if you don't know if they're there or not. I know you're there. And sometimes you'll feel something flutter weird or they'll stop. If you hear the voice before it starts pulling you, the hard part is once it starts pulling you is understanding what the reality is, because of dream states can be wake states. Command them to leave. And sometimes you have to command them multiple times to leave. An interesting exercise that I will do is I'll actually tell them to leave, and then I'll take a deep breath in and blow the space. I do that a lot. And it commands the space.
Okay.
With the dark, with the light, with anything, if you can command the space, you're going to find parts of your body that resonate with what they're saying. And to challenge it, to ask it, to command it to leave, to create your space just for a minute, create your own space. If you can't stabilize, if you can't feel the table you're grabbing, you've got to figure out your space, your reality. Even if you want to go follow it, you've got to first figure out your space, your reality.
So you're holding one of the Promise to Live pocket hugs and the coins. And this was actually inspired because somebody gave me one to check on me. And I started carrying it in my pocket. And then my friend's son took his life and she asked me to speak at the funeral and I gave her mine. And it says on the back, when times are tough and you don't know what to do, here's a hug from me to you. Call or text 988 if you're struggling, the National Crisis Line. The old one the original one didn't have that, but I gave it to her and she goes, Brandy, that got me through the hardest week of my life. When you talk about, I'm holding your crystals. And when we talk about grounding, when we talk about feeling, when we talk about, something tangible that you can hold on to.
Yep.
That's kind of what we created these.
I love it.
We created them and we ask everybody. I think I've asked you, I'll ask you, anyone who's watching, to make a promise. If you do find yourself in that dark place, if you do hear the voice, if you do feel like you don't want to be here anymore, promise to reach out to someone, a friend, a family member, a trusted resource, 988, somebody who knows you and loves you. But we created these. One is a token. It's a reminder. It's like a grounding technique. But I'm wondering what you feel with it. Because every time we give these out, we ask them to make the promise to live. You get one to keep and one to give. Because we need connection. And we've given out over 100,000 of these. And our goal is 1 million this year. So I just want to know from you, I gave you one. We've given a lot. We know they're saving lives. What is your feel on that?
Well, I like that it makes me give a promise, because that's a term. It's one of the terms, right?
Yeah.
And promises are I don't just do that.
People are 60% more likely to keep a promise they make ahead of time. Even when we don't love ourselves, we love the other person, we respect them, or we want to honor our word. It's integrity. It's the one thing we have. We always own.
Yeah. Well, for me, integrity keeps me aligned, and it's a big navigation system. So promise to live. Well, I promise to live.
Thank you.
And
we need your magic.
I have helped a lot of suicide cases. It just kind of comes with the jobs, right? But what I really love is that when you read it, it's got the 2 in the different color.
Yeah.
And so it forces my system to acknowledge it, not just say it. And that's a big thing too, is when you can force your system, when your system can physically create it into a physical state. You pull it from thought form and you breathe it in and out into creation. So what you're doing is you're asking and you're giving a promise that comes from you inviting me to breathe into a physical manifestation of a promise.
And it's 2-part. The number 2 is because the first promise is for you and the second part is for someone else.
Yeah, that's great. And now you have another number. A lot of the times when I've been in places where it was really, really dark, I actually felt safer not with a physical person, but with God or an angel or my horses.
Yeah.
Or my dog, or sometimes even my house, right? Because I lived single for years, ran a ranch. And so that's what I think it invites another place for you to connect in. A 988, it connects you to who gave it to, who you're working with. And also now you can open it up to what actually makes you feel comforted.
So you mentioned number. And I have a question. I'm not into numbers or numerology or anything, but for the last few years, I noticed a number. Are you able to see that number for me, or?
The number you keep seeing? Well, I keep seeing a 3 and a 4 and a 12.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the orders that I see them in, though.
So as I've seen that, it's funny. All of a sudden during this whole process, I kept seeing every time I looked at my clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you get to a point, I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I'm not, superstitious or whatever it is. And I looked it up and it said, you're on the right path, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I sat down at a meeting literally yesterday and the guy goes, hey, are you into numbers at all? I was like, funny, you should ask me that. I said, not really, but there is one number that keeps pulling up. And I turned my phone over to pick it up and look at it.
It's there. Like,
it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was exactly. And I just said, you've got to be kidding me. So for you to pick that up, I think that's really interesting. What does, when you see that for me? Yeah. Is there a message with that?
Well, the added part to it is now you get to discover the 3 and now you get to discover the 4 and the 12.
Okay.
So for me, just to give you a little quick, like a little nibbit, right? A 3 is for me coming up now as the Trinity. Okay. So the triangle is the most strongest structure form at the same time. And so however you can associate that with the divinity in you and what you're working with, right? 4 is now your relationships with your job, with flourishing. So relationships, what you're creating all flourishes in like a income way also. And 12 is what I was going to say just disappeared. And so what that is it's just a stronger strength of the first 2 steps. So you're bringing in the first choice with the partnership.
And my birthday's 12/15, so.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, 12. Like, let's just go
bring a 5 in too. Those are always good.
Let's just play that up.
Yeah, but look into the 3 and look in the 4 and look in the 12.
Okay. That's interesting. Thank you.
Those are some other ones I'll give you. So
my last thing, since you've got this gift and I don't, like, is there one message from anyone who has passed that I need to hear?
Well, the 3 kids keep coming up, and it's the second one. And that one is saying, first, just tell my mom we're here, and we'll help her know the truth. Help her know the truth. But there's more truth to what happened than is being revealed right now. And she's not been ready to hear it. And I can totally understand why. There's an unsafety situation, especially with the younger one.
The first one that took their life.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it was almost like what I'm being shown is it was almost like they felt like they could protect more on the other side. Another one is Grandpa, definitely. And
Mine.
Mm-hmm. And
I never met him.
He says that you talk to him and you can hear him. And he's got a deeper-ish sounding voice it feels good. It feels really good. There are some from the vetting when you went, how do you even say it? Your platoon,
my military stuff?
Military. Mm-hmm. There's a gentleman that looks like he's got blondish hair. It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
That says you still got it. You still got the force. You still got the looks. You still got what you can create. Trying to translate it. There's a little girl that's coming in and she's not saying anything. She's just coming in. There's a lot that just want to touch you.
Why?
I touch you.
Hi.
It reminds me of when I go to like other countries and I'm really tall and I'm blonde and all the little kids come up and they're like, oh. Is there someone that you want to talk to?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. My grandma.
Okay.
My grandma. I would be curious. She passed away about 13 years ago or so. But I had an experience in my old house that people said was haunted. And I think it was my grandma.
She says that there was also more there than just
that
her
house.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I know.
She says that it was like a humming-ish vibration, the humming sound. That was her. Did you hear her, the humming sound? Like a higher pitched humming sound?
Not so much. I think she just left change around.
The change? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. She was not showing me that.
She wasn't.
She wasn't
the
showing
penny
me
in
that
my
at
shoe.
all. So,
I think she would talk to my son. He was a baby.
definitely. Yeah, he was easily. That was easy.
Yeah.
Whispered blessings to him a lot.
Probably.
She seems a little shy. Like she's not really sure she wants to talk
Probably.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was really cute because my little boy who I adopted, he had never met her ever. And, on social media, memory popped up and I was looking at it and I was like, oh, and he came over and he goes, Grandma. And I was just like, what? He goes, Grandma. And he had never, I don't have pictures of her up, but he knew her. And so I just always felt like she's helps me with him and she kind of watched over us there.
Yeah.
So
she's still around. She still can. She thinks
she does whistle a lot.
Okay.
So maybe that's the humming.
I'm like, there's a really high pitched sound that's going on here.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
What's her name?
Glenna Rose.
Well, I wish I could have got more from her. She's a little shy with the information.
Yeah.
All I got was the whistling
That was
and the
her
blessings
thing.
to the boy.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate you coming on, and I would actually like to visit with you some more later on the show or off the show or whatever like that.
Okay.
And showcase a little bit more where we're not shoved into TV or whatever.
Right. No, thank you for doing that. I think, there's some fun, interesting stuff.
You've had quite the life.
I have.
And it gets more. You're going to have more
Every day.
coming. And I think the biggest thing that I get to just remind you of is the help is there. Keep listening. It's almost like they're trying to barricade the traps and they're working really hard on the other side, and that you get to be that pure space so that they can just make a choice.
Okay.
And the faith will be whatever the choices end up being, they're there. If you're there, if you're anywhere around it, it's made correctly. Even if you don't make it,
Right.
they'll grab them, they'll get them.
Okay.
Like, they'll help them.
Yeah, I believe that. And I've seen that actually when I did it at the hospital. I would see and I could feel, people being ushered.
Yeah, and just reminding the people that of that there's more there too.
Okay.
And you could even maybe ask, who would you want to meet? If you did cross, who would you want to meet?
Mm-hmm.
And then they can come in and hold them while they're still alive and let them be with them while they're still alive.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
I keep getting like all this information I want to say.
I want to hear it all.
Like,
Tell me everything. Tell me
all right,
everything.
Well, I'll talk to you afterwards, and then we'll
Okay.
see if we can do it again or create like something
Okay.
to usher them to you a little bit more for that information. It is
Okay.
a little bit of a tricky time right now.
Yeah.
Things are splitting up. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for coming on, and I promise to live.